Hey guys, this is Donnie with databases.biz. This is part 4, which we're going to talk about creating queries. Um, and the reason we're going to create a query, so we have over here, you can see we got our tables and forms so far. And the forms are based off these two tables. So even though it says work orders, it's actually the main part of this work orders form because the overall theme of the Excel spreadsheet we used in the very first lesson was a work orders spreadsheet. So that's why I called the form work orders. But so technicians is on this is the main form. I'm just going to open it up to recap. So this is the technicians here, and then here are all the work orders that these technicians worked on. So this is John Burton. So John Burton worked on 201 different work orders. And then we go over to the next technician, was John Carter. He worked on 180, and then you can see the same on so on and so forth. You know, we have a total of 6 technicians here. This one worked on 52 work orders. So this is based on the top part here is based on this table technicians, and then the bottom part here is based on work orders. So this is a sub form. I'll go to design view. So you can see this is the main form, and you can see that by clicking on here and seeing it says technicians. And then if I click on this X inside, which is a sub form, so a form inside of a form, when I click on that, you can see over here that this is based on, it'll show you the record source. So actually, it's pretty nice. So I click on this because I could have just hit and put work orders, but we used kind of like a wizard when we created this subform, so it kind of did a query for us when we created it. But I could just click on work orders and it'd be the same thing. But let me show you the query since this is about queries. So I'm gonna click on these 3 dots right here, and then this is the query that was created. And we put all the fields in there, so you can see down here in the bottom, this is all the fields in that table. So I can expand this out, and then you can see all the fields right here. So really, but if I wanted to, I could just hit this drop down and just say work orders, and it would still do the same thing, and I'd still end up with the same results. So now both of them are actually based off the table, and I didn't use an internal query that you can't see. So I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to go ahead and save it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started creating a query. So the reason we're creating a query is we want to link the technicians to the work orders, so that way we can create a report on these and be able to print out a report. So this is part 4 of the series, creating queries, and then part 5 is going to be creating the reports. So what we're going to do is go in query design, and you can just double click on technicians and then double click on work orders, and then you can see they get added, and I can click close. And this right here, if you don't remember, is the relationship that we created. And right now it's showing only include rows where join fields or from both tables are equal. But I want to see all my technicians, and I only want to see the work order. So it's going to say include all records from technicians. So all 6 of my technicians are going to show, and then only the work orders that they worked. I don't want to see work orders from, little ghost work orders where it's not related to a technician. So I got that. Expand this out a little bit, move it over some. If you don't remember relationships, just real quick, you go to database tools, relationships, and this is where we create a relationship. This just helps access run a little bit faster and relate these records. And if I delete records from one table or update records in the table, let's say I update employee ID in technicians table, it's going to update all the employee IDs for the work orders table, so that way these stay related like they're supposed to. It just makes it way easier for you. All right, so now what we got to decide is what do we want to put in our report. So I know we're going to want last name, first name, probably hire date, comments on the technician, and then next over here on the work order side, probably want the work order number, what district, the service they provided. We're going to say we don't care if it was a rush. Let's see, the requested date, probably want that, the work date. I don't care if it was based on warranty labor, warranty parts. Probably want to know the labor hours, parts costs. Don't care about payment, and I think that's all I'm gonna put in there. Well, I'll put comments in here for the work order just because. Now notice we have 2 comments, and I don't know if it'll do it right now or not. But if I click, because there are 2 comments, it might give me an error. Well, it didn't. But you can see right here it says work order comments, and then over here. Where's the other comment? Did we put the other comment in here? Oh yeah. See, you can see the difference. But if you want to get around that, let's say you don't want that dot there, you could just say WO comments like this and put a colon, tab out. Now when I click view, see now I got technician comments over here and then work order comments right here, so I will know the difference between the two. You can always put tech comments too, which let's go ahead and do that just because. So I come here right before it and I'll type tech comments colon, and now I can distinguish between the two types of comments. All right, so that's, I mean, we just created a query. Now inside the query also, so this is a query. This is the easy way to create it. But if you know SQL, you can click SQL view right here, and this is what it looks like behind the scenes. So I mean, you could literally type the same stuff right here, or if you want to play around with it just to see that you can change stuff, you can just look at what's in here. Let's see. So here is technician comments as tech comments. So let's just put a 1 right there just to show you how we can manipulate it. So now I'm going to go to design view again, and then you can see right there's the 1, and if I click view, there's the 1 also. And I go back to design view, and then I can just remove that 1. And the next thing you do is hit save, and remember we put a naming, we use naming conventions, so we put a prefix of Q for queries and just name it work orders. So, and now it makes more sense because you see we got a table called work orders, query called work orders, and a form called work orders. And right here we got a subform called work orders. So now you know the difference between all of them. So if I wanted to add tables and I click on this, I can do queries or I can do tables. Obviously you can't put the same query that we just created, so you're not going to see it. But if there's other queries here, they would show up there, and then you can do both and see. And you'd be able to tell going down the list which is a table and which is a query by using proper naming conventions. So definitely get in the habit of doing that. All right, so our query is done. I mean, that's really all there is to it. Let's see, we're at 7 minutes, so I might as well show you some other stuff while we're in here, right? Okay, so this is a work order query, and let's see. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create another query by going to query design, and we'll call it technicians. Okay, and let's see. Trying to think about what I want to do here real quick. Let's just do it. Let's do a make table query. Okay, so we'll just bring all this down, and we're going to change this from a select query, which is just you putting data into a make table query. So what this is going to do is make new table. So right here you can just say the table name. You can select that, and it'll override it. So I'm just going to select it, and then I'm going to put a 1 right there and hit OK. And then what I'm going to do is right here, I'm going to run it. It's going to say you're about to paste 6 rows into a new table, and I'm going to say yes. And then now I have a new table, a copy of the table I just created, and so you can do things like that. And the cool thing is I can, when we learn more about Visual Basic for applications, you can create command buttons that can just automatically do this. So you may have reasons. Maybe you import some data and you want it to make a new table or something like that. So there's steps. So you can, these are called action queries. So if I save this, and I'll show you what's an action query. So we'll just say Q make table example. Oops. Let's see. Take that, put that L in there. It might make it crazy. I can't change the name because I have it open, but anyways, make table. And so you see right there, that's how you know it's an action query. It's got some kind of action it's going to perform. You can see that's different from this, that little icon there. So that's how you know you got an action query. So you want to be careful when you're playing around with those action queries, because you know they do things in your database. I mean, right now I can just run it, and it's going to say it's going to delete my old table and then make a new table, and then yes. And it's based off of this table right here, technicians. So you can see it got the technicians right there, and that's what this new table is based off of, technicians 1. Now let's just do something else. Now let's say I want to append some data to that new table or something. I can just go over here, click append, or technicians 1 is what I want to. Let's say this one here, it's regular technicians, right? Now before I append anything, I want to go to the form and I want to add a new record. So we're going to add record, and we're going to call this 777 called John Doe. Hire date. Just put this in real quick. Some stuff. And we'll just put a work order number in there, fake one. And then, so now I've got that. And then I'm going to come back here to the very first record. So you can see everything's saved. And I should have, I'm not going to do it right now, but you can add a close button in there later if you play around with the form. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And now I am going to, let's see, design right here. So this is an append query. Let's just click on it again to go over it. So we're appending to, we don't want to append to the same table we're basing this query off of. We actually want to append to technicians 1, the table we created. So let's say we made a table. Now from here on out, we want to append to that table. That means we want to add records from the original technician table to the new technician table. So then I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to click up here and run it. It's going to say you're about to append 7 rows. Now if you remember, we have in here, when we created technicians, we have in there a primary key, and then we also have the employee ID that says no duplicates. So even though it says it's going to append 7 rows, I'm going to tell you right now before we hit yes, it's really only going to append 1 row because we already have the employee IDs originally from in there. So I'm going to hit yes, and then I'm going to open this up, and there's the new one. All right, let me check this table out here. Employee ID index. So it's not indexed. So this should have been, oh, I know why. Because when we created the table, so made a mistake there. So I'm going to say no. I'm not even going to say no duplicates yet. I am going to click on this, save it, go in there, delete, and we're going to fix that. So when you, that's something too when you got to keep in mind. So if this was like an actual database I was working on, I would have made sure, truthfully I wouldn't have used a query to make the table to begin with. I would just copied and pasted it. But because we used a query to make the table, it didn't make the table based on all the other things that we put in place on technicians, on the original technician table. So I'm deleting that because I want to show you. Because when you create a table, you want to make sure you don't have duplicates. In this instance, I wouldn't want to have duplicate records in here. That would serve me no purpose. So I'm going to go over to index, and I'm going to say yes, no duplicates. And then I'm going to save it, close it. Yeah, hold on a second. Sorry about this. I actually want to put no right here and append at one time. So let's just do this. Don't want to do that either. Yeah, I do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make an employee ID, so 1111. It doesn't matter who it is. I just want to show you that the 111 here is not going to append in here when I'm done with it. Just as an example, but I need to make sure I index and say no duplicates. Now I'm going to save it. Now I'm going back over my query, and I'm going to design view right here. I'm going to run this. Now it's going to say 7. And now I'm going to get the error right here. It says due to no value, it didn't add 1 record. Remember the 111 I just entered? And I'm going to say yes. And now I can open up this, and you can see this is the one I created. So now I'm going to get rid of this, the one I created, so I can get the one that I didn't create. So run it, say yes, and same thing, it didn't add 6 records. Say yes, and then when I open this up, now I got that other one back in there. So now I got 7, and it matches the first one, and everything as far as indexes go. So you kind of, you know, and I could just redo the video and act like I didn't make a mistake or something, but that's part of learning is making mistakes. And so there's gonna be a lot of trial and error as you go through creating your queries and your tables and your database, you know, your big project and everything. And it helps to know things like that and catch those kind of errors so you can fix it. So I think that's it. And next video we're going to do reports. So based on the query we just created, we're going to go in and we're going to make some reports. Obviously you have other queries in here too that you can play around with, and I highly suggest you do. Let's do a delete query. So we don't want to delete this. We actually want to delete this. Let's delete. Delete. this up. Like, so that's just another one of those queries for you. All right, so that's it. Please do a like and subscribe. You know, I volunteered. I'm gonna keep on adding more and more videos. I'm gonna do, you know, little small videos here and there, like just different things. How to do some VBA, how to update a ribbon, and in Microsoft Access, a ribbon is the top part, like here, where you can make your own. For instance, if you didn't see earlier videos, this one right here has a custom ribbon in it. It's an old database, but you can see I added stuff like this in here. Just little things. You know, you can make this look like real software almost if you want to, just by using these ribbons. Like I get rid of that tab, and this, I mean, this would look like full-blown software. So you can do a lot of stuff from Microsoft Access if you put a little work into it. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, like and subscribe. Go to databases.biz if you want to log in. I have a learning management system over there so you can track your progress and stuff on these different videos that I'm creating. And I'm trying to create them as fast as I can and get them uploaded for you. Alright, have a great day.